Morning everyone, and welcome to the final day of the Adelaide Royal. It's a different sort of day. Normally we finish with general specials, but we've tried this year to bring the multi-dog classes into the one situation. I hope that we can look at this day as a really relaxed day to enjoy. It's a celebration of breeding as much as anything, so perhaps a more relaxed pace, and the reality that everyone will be able to go home a little earlier is an added bonus. I'd like to introduce to you, most of you would know them by now, our two key judges, Mrs. Asamaka Fail from Germany, who will judge the first set of classes this morning, and then Mr. Wild from Canada, who will take to the ring afterwards. We're only going to use the one ring. We have time on our sides this morning. Just ask you to listen to the stewards. We need to just keep things going along gently, and I hope during the course of the morning we'll have an opportunity to speak to the judges about what they're doing in the ring and what their thoughts are about the classes that they see. Because this is the last opportunity, I'd like to thank the stewards. We only have a small number here today, but for those who are here and for those who have been here through the week, they're really the backbone of the show, and a wonderful job that they do keeping things going, managing exhibitors who can be between happy and despondent, and sometimes worse than that. But they just do it with so much poise and aplomb, and I just ask you now to thank the stewards for their work during the course of the 10 days. And I know we thanked Mari Loudon, as show manager, the other day formally, but perhaps again for the last time, a round for Mari. Please enjoy the day, listen to the stewards, and we look forward to the conclusion of the show at 1 o'clock. Thank you, everyone.
So we are looking for our first class today, the Masula Prize and the Orville Vetch Prize, the dam and offspring. We do require the dam with 2 to 4 of its progeny. Progeny is to be 6 months of age or over. Like yesterday, today is also being live streamed, so remember everyone, put on the pretty faces and smile. The first dogs in for the Briard team is the Briards. This is for the dam and offspring.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to live streaming on the final day of the Adelaide Royal, and we're seeing in the ring at the moment with Judge Hassi Asamaka Fail, the dam and offspring class. This class is for a dam with between 2 and 4 of its progeny of 6 months age and over. It's really a breeder's class, so that we're looking at what a particular dam has produced. It may be in one, it may be in more litters than that. So the first class into the ring are the Briards. They are followed into the ring by a group of French Bulldogs, and then the Briards Sorry, the Bernese Mountain Dogs and the Bull Mastiffs.
Bernese Mountain Dogs.
Another class of Bernese Mountain Dogs.
Siberian Huskies.
And a class of Siberian Huskies.
So the class
So
we're looking
at the front of each line should be the dam, and her offspring follow behind her. I'll speak to the judge at the end of the class and before she places them to just ask what she's looking for, but I think basically she'll be interested in how many litters the puppies present represent, whether they're all from the one sire or whether there's a variation. And I guess she'll be looking too for consistency across the puppies, quality, and just watching for the points of type that a breeder might be looking to reinforce in their particular breedings. So with this class of Briards, as far as I can tell, the dam is Grand Champion Jancia Dream Moravia Campanella, imported from Czechoslovakia. The exhibitor is Bennett. And in a while we'll be able to work out in terms of how many litters are represented, but they all look to be puppies of roughly the same age, so I'm guessing 1 litter. And being moved now is the dam herself. So Mrs. Asamaka-File has had a brief examination of the dogs. There's no need to literally go over every inch of them, but she's now looking down along from the dam, down along across the puppies to see just how even the produce are, what special breed qualities are represented, their general soundness and appropriateness to the task of being a shepherd.
That was our Briards. You're now looking at the French Bulldog. Sturdy, compact, solid, small dog with good body.
The French Bulldogs only have 2 progeny here, one of which is having a bit of a ball. There's such strong breed points in something like the French Bulldog in particular in relation to the head and the top line, and I guess she'll be looking fairly clearly at those. We have a little gap here. Not sure what's happening. We're headed for the table, of course. So she's clearly wanting to have a look more closely at some aspects of the French Bulldog. The exhibitor of this group of French Bulldog is a Cad. So we're watching the French Bulldogs exhibited by ACAD. The dam is Champion Kiangsi, show 'em I'm divine. So I think it's a bit difficult to see from the angle I'm on, but we're now looking at the second of the progeny. The French Bulldog with its particular gait, top line, and its lovely head and the bat-like ears. She'll be looking for the breed qualities across the entry. And she's looked at each of the group, and now she'll see them together as they go round. There they go, the dam in front. And the two youngsters following behind. Next is a group of Bernese mountain dogs. The dam is Champion Alpenhund Hully. And we have 3 puppies from her. I can't tell from here, there's nothing in the catalogue that would indicate to me whether they're all from the one litter or even from the same sire. But she's now looking at the mother. My guess is in Bernese she's going to be looking for just the general build of the dog and the markings in particular, but also I noticed she started by moving the dam out and back. She'll be looking for the soundness and the health of the breed. In one sense, when you judge a dam and progeny or a sire and progeny class, you would be looking not only for consistency of type and quality along the line, but also hopefully an improvement from the dam to the progeny. I mean, that's the goal of breeding, to actually improve each generation. So she's on to the second of the progeny now. Checking body structure, coat and head, and now movement. It's great to see a number of progeny exhibited. It gives you a much greater sense of the contribution that a particular dam may make to the breed, and it's really a statement by breeders about, this is my perhaps not foundation, but this is one of the blocks in my building plan, and this is where it's taking me. So this is the third of the Bernese progeny that we're looking at. And now we'll see them go around the ring. So having seen them individually now, a chance to see collectively, to look along the line and get a sense of where this dam is taking the breed. I think maybe if you're watching, it's one of the things that, it's good to do yourself, to look along and say, okay, that's the line. Is there an improvement as I look down along the line? The fourth group that Mrs. Asamaka File is now looking at are the Bull Mastiffs. The dam is Champion Bull Mighty back to town. This is the dam. She's a 6-year-old bitch, and we have 2 progeny from her.
They are a powerful dog. We are looking at the bull mastiff.
I guess just watching the bull mastiff go, one of the things that she would also be considering is the temperament along the line. Whether the temperament is strong, whether it's typical of the breed. And that's sometimes a challenge, because you can see, looking at these bull mastiff puppies, that they're actually not that old, so they have to withstand the echoing of this pavilion and the noise of the microphone going across, so it is a bit of a test. Interesting breeding for the dam. She is Bull Mighty back to black. Her sire is Bullmaster Black Prince, and a rather unfortunately named Bullmaster Ugly Betty. Okay. Poor Betty. So they're the 2 progeny now. She's going to see the group go around, led by the dam and the 2 puppies, or progeny. And again, looking for consistency and hopefully improvement down the line as you go back from the dam.
The bull mastiff.
The next group are again Bernese mountain dogs. The dam is Zanzibar Princess Coco.
These were a multi-purpose farming animal. They were used for drafting, for carrying the carts, for taking the host, the heavy loads. They're a sturdy dog, alert, with a wonderful shiny coat with a fantastic colour. They're kind and devoted family dog.
This is the dam, Princess Coco, 5-year-old bitch. Sired by a Zanzibar dog, Humdinger, and a Zanzibar bitch, undeniably. So here are the progeny. Just the 2 of them. The class stipulates between 2 and 4 progeny, so this is fine. And now on to the second. As you come towards the front of the Bernese, I guess the judge will be looking at the head qualities and maybe looking for the cross in the white markings on the chest. Feeling for the strength and structure of the body and the coat. Just looking at the head with the melon pips above the eyes there, and the tan shadings on the cheek and on the front legs and the rear. White tip to the tail. So that's the group Zanzibar Princess Coco. We're going to see them go around the ring now.
Bernese mountain dogs.
I'd stick my neck out and guess that the first of the progeny is a male and the second a female, but it's only a guess at this distance, just looking at what's actually presented. And the last in this group is Ramika 007, the dam, a Siberian Husky. We'll just wait till we get that on the screen.
The Siberian Husky is a medium-sized dog with moderate bone, well balanced.
There we are, we have the Siberian Husky on the screen now. The dam is Ramika 007. trying to work my way through what the catalogue tells me, that this is a bitch born on the 23rd of January 2016, but I very much doubt that if she's the dam of the puppies. So I'm running a little bit blind here, other than to say we're looking at Siberian Huskies. It's the thing with a catalogue for some 3,000 dogs. There are mistakes in it, and sometimes they only get picked up when you're on the day itself. I would love to look into the faces of each of these Siberians. One of the things I find really striking about them is their head and expression, particularly when you get the wall eye. I can't see that. So this is the first of the offspring, I think? No, the second. And one to go. Nice to see a group of three, rather. It'd be fascinating if we ever got to the point where people were putting four in. It would really give you a sense of the contribution that bitch had made. Getting a sense of the dog as an individual, and in a moment she'll send them round the ring as a group. I'm going to go into the ring and speak to Mrs. Asamaka File before she places these dogs now.
And this is the last team in the dam progeny, the Siberian Husky.
Just as Mrs. Asamaka File completes her decision making, a reminder that this class is placed to four places. First place receives $100 plus product, trophy, and a voucher. So fairly significant prize there. Second is $50, third is $30, and fourth $20. These prizes are sponsored by Margaret Hope Bennett, and the prizes include a full breed DNA profile. So we're talking about classes which are about things that are important to a breeder. And I'd just like to ask Mrs. Asamaka File, before she announces her placings, what she was looking for when she judged these classes.
I'm looking for type, its expression, of course, bodies and movements. Coat a little bit, not so much.
So when you were looking down the line from the dam to the progeny, apart from clearly type, was there something you were hoping for or looking for from the breeding point of view?
I liked most, can I tell it? The Siberian Huskies, and they was the only group with two sires. All other had just one sire.
So with two sires, I guess you were looking for consistency of type coming, the strength of the dam in the breeding process. Were you looking for anything like improvement down the line from the dam to the progeny?
You mean the bad things. No, I want not to say.
Okay, thank you. Would you like to make your placings?
And it looks like in first place we have the Siberian Husky.
So in the dam and offspring, first place went to the group of Siberian Huskies exhibited by Kay Rayner. The dam is Ramika 007. In second place, the Briards of E. Bennett. The dam is Grand Champion Jancia Dream Moravia Campanella, an imported bitch from Czechoslovakia. In third place, the Bernese Mountain Dogs, exhibited by T&K Howlett. The dam is Zanzibar Princess Coco. And in fourth place, the Bull Mastiffs, exhibited by B. Dawson, and the dam is Champion Bull Mighty Back to Black. So these are the placings for dam and progeny. And it's great to see collections of dogs like this in the ring, and we'll watch as they go around and on their way out. I see Mrs. Asama Kafayo speaking to and congratulating the exhibitors who weren't placed as they leave the ring, and just having a chat with them. It was interesting that she gave such a priority to the Siberians because there were two sires counted in the progeny group. So she was looking, as she said, for consistency of get and quality overall. I might just stop the live commentary for a moment and give you a quick look at a couple of other aspects of the show while we prepare for the next class. Just introduce everyone again to Mr. Ed Wild from Canada, who's been our judge over these 10 days. And Ed, I wondered if you'd tell me something of your story in dogs, where you come from, what your own personal favourites have been, and anything like that that'll just give us an idea of who you are.
Thank you. Began into purebred dogs in 1969. Bought my first dachshund then, which obviously was not anything close to a show dog. Eventually went to Basset Hounds, which lasted for the next 40 years. Along the way, I've had some English Cockers, and then I went back more recently to the Dachshunds simply because they're more portable as we get older, easier to handle, easier to carry, and happy with them.
So just listening to the list of breeds that you went through, you've judged most of those actually here over the 10 days. What's your impression, just without being specific about particular dogs, but of those breeds in general here?
In particular, and I commented to the exhibitors today that the Basset Hound entry was one of the best I've seen in years.
Wonderful. You had a big entry of Cockers as well.
Yes, and some very handsome dogs within that group as well.
And across the whole 10 days, you did groups 2, 4, 6 and 7.
Yes.
A fairly big assignment. How have you found it all?
I've thoroughly enjoyed the dogs, and in particular the people. They're great to work with, and some really, really top quality dogs throughout the entry.
And when you think of Canada and Australia, this is one of our major shows. This is Australia's favourite royal. You've probably heard that before, but it truly is. How do you compare the two worlds, Canada's dog world and this one?
Basically, the dog world isn't that much different. In fact, this year in Canada, the top dog is the Kerry Blue Terrier that was the top dog here in Australia last year.
It's a small world, this dog world. Ed, thank you. It's been a pleasure having you in Adelaide over these 10 days. I know you've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed watching your judging, and we'll wait and see how it all ends up.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. And I have with me Mrs. Asamaka Feil from Germany, who has also been one of our two key confirmation judges over the 10 days of the Royal. So Hasi, how have you found it all? It's a big task, 10 days of judging.
Not for me, but it's nice to be here, and it's a beautiful show, and I enjoyed very, very much everything.
How have you found the arena here, the facilities?
Super.
We aren't able to do night shows and lights and things, but how would this compare to a big show in, say, Germany?
Big show is,
Bigger.
yeah, much bigger. And the World Dog Shows are over 20,000 dogs. Like in Great Britain, the one show is over 20,000.
And I gather the World Show will be in Leipzig next year?
Yeah, in Germany.
Yeah.
Right.
Just thinking of your own story in dogs, Hasi, I understand you've had Dobermans, is that correct? Can you tell us something of your story in dogs?
Okay, I started with Basset Hounds, the same as Ed. It's funny. And I did only 3 litters because I had to do it, otherwise I couldn't become a judge. And later on, my big love was Doberman, and I got it.
So how long have you been judging?
50 years about.
And could you perhaps identify 1 or 2 shows that are, apart from, of course, the Adelaide Royal, that are highlights for you as you think back?
In any case, all the Royals I judged. That was in Perth, in Sydney, twice in Perth, in Sydney, in Brisbane, and I think in Hobart, I'm not sure, and here in Adelaide. That was the last. And I enjoyed also a lot of World Dog Shows in Europe and other countries.
And as you think about the 10 days here, how do you feel about the dogs that you've seen? I know across half a dozen different, you did Group 1, Group 3 and Group 5. 3 and 5 in particular are big groups with some strong breeds. What's your overall impression?
You have excellent dogs all together. Not all breeds, of course, like everywhere, but it was a great show. And super hospitality, everything was so nice. Thank you.
And I gather you also enjoyed some of the other aspects of the Adelaide Royal, for instance, the cattle.
Very much I enjoyed to go in the museum, Roche Museum. That was super. I never saw something like that before.
Well, the cup that you will be awarding for Best in Show is the David Roach Memorial Cup, so there's a little connection for you there. Hasi, thank you. It's been wonderful watching you judge. I've enjoyed it all through the week, and I know the exhibitors have too. So we look forward to your judging of Best in Show. Thank you.
Thank you.
This is a very relaxed day at the show, following from our general specials yesterday. These are the multi-breed class show day, and coming into the ring in a moment to be judged by Mrs. Asamaka File is a new class. It's the first time we've offered this, but it recognises the reality that increasingly we're seeing the use of AI, both from overseas and even from Australian dogs, in breeding programs, and it certainly opened up the opportunities for quality breeding. And what we're seeing now coming into the ring are the class is actually called offspring from AI. So it's defined by 2 or 4 progeny sired by artificial insemination. The AI sire could be either Australian or an overseas dog. So all of these dogs are the result of a considered breeding which has involved some degree of intervention from the veterinary profession in terms of the artificial insemination process. And this class is sponsored by the Noah's Crossing Vet Clinic, which is one of the clinics around Adelaide, around South Australia, that actually do a significant amount of work in this area. We'll just watch the class for a moment while I check with the stewards as to who's in the ring. So just let it go for a moment. Sorry about the break, back on air. But I was chasing information for you. We're now looking at the Siberians as a group. Now these are sired by AI. The sire is actually a dog called Destiny's Fox in Socks. He's in Finland, but he was bred in the USA. So when we talk about AI, this is clearly frozen semen that's been imported, and the 3 puppies are from that sire. And I'll look at the other 2 groups. Just for a moment, we'll shift back along the line now I've got the information. And we're looking at the bull mastiffs. The bull mastiffs are sired by UK and French champion De Haut, French lover of Copperfield. So again, we're talking about frozen semen. And this is the technology that breeders increasingly are looking at to produce quality within their get. And the Bernese Mountain Dog group are all sired by a West Australian dog. So this class allows for AI from within Australia or from overseas. The West Australian dog is called Senin, You Make My Day. So they're the 3 sires that we've looked at. So we can go back to looking at the whole set of them now, and I'll just go out and see if Mrs. Asamakafile can give me some of her thoughts. AI is increasingly being used in dog breeding, and it gives breeders access to a much greater number of potential sires, both within Australia and overseas, and we're grateful to Noah's Creek Veterinary Crossing for sponsoring this class. Mrs. Asamakafile, your thoughts on AI, your thoughts on the importance of this and perhaps what you were looking for?
Exactly the same thing as before. Type, movement, body.
Is AI something which is used a lot in Germany?
Not so much. In some clubs it's not allowed.
It is something which is very real in Australia with the tyranny of distance, so I'll leave you to announce your placings.
And first prize in the AI class does go to the Siberian Huskies. As I've said, this is the first time this class has been held at the Adelaide Royal Show. And
By
in second
AI,
prize we
first
have
place in the class side by AI, the first place goes to the Siberians, the second to the Bull Mastiffs, and the third to the Bernese Mountain Dogs. These classes have significant prizes of cash and product, and it's one of the things offered in the prizes is a voucher for a full breed DNA profile from the Noah's Creek, the Noah's Crossing Vet Clinic, which is something which will test for all specific diseases and traits for that breed, and I think that's specifically sponsored by Orovet Genetic Pet Care. So these are tools that the breeders are using to the advantage of their own breed. Mrs. Asamakafile will step back now, and Mr. Wild will take up with a number of classes now. So we'll have a a short break because between these classes there's a lot of swapping of dogs and handlers, and we just need to pace the day fairly slowly. It's a relaxed day. It's after the general specials, and there's that sense of a bit of a party and a bit of a wind down. So we'll just close the live commentary for a while and put you back if you've already seen the interviews or the film. I apologise, but it's what we're going to have again for a moment. Thanks everyone, we'll be back in about 10 minutes.
They're faithful, supremely intelligent, and very beautiful. The Sheltie is a small, long-haired working dog with great beauty. So you are looking at the German Shepherd and the Shetland Sheepdog. The German Shepherd's temperament is steady of nerve, self-assured, absolutely free and easy. German Shepherds are good-natured and wonderful with children. As in all confirmation classes, the judge is inspecting each dog. This is the sire and the progeny. So he's checking their bite, their coat, their conformation, their bone structure.
In the ring with Mr. Wild from Canada, we now have the sire and offspring class. This is defined as a sire with 2 or 4 of its progeny. So unlike the AI class, the sire is now in the ring. The first group that we're looking at is the German Shepherds, presented by Alameda Kennels, and I would gather from the catalogue that the sire in question is Alameda Firewalker AZ. So he would be the dog first in the line, and we're now looking at the progeny. You're allowed 2 to 4 of the progeny, 6 months of age or over, and it looks as if we've got 3 of them. I know that Mrs. Asamakafile was interested in how many sires were represented in the dam and progeny class. It would be interesting to know how many dams are represented in this group sired by the dog. So the shepherds, having been examined individually, are now going around the ring together, sire in front. 2, three. You get a sense of it there as they come towards you and going around. We can see one of the progeny here. When you can focus on one dog and really see it in such close detail, it's really interesting how much you can see, and sometimes it's actually easier to judge a group from behind the camera than it is from in the ring. This second group, Pauline Brennan and Aramis Lynn, the Shetland Sheepdog, the sire Japanese champion and supreme champion Ken Cherry's Union Black Jack, CD, imported from Japan. So this is the dog, the sire. We get a lovely shot of him there. And no, is that the dog or not? It's gone to the back. Just trying to get a sense of the class. Off to the table. The second dog is going out now. Second of the progeny. Out and back for soundness and checking expression. And on the table will be the third one. So we've got a sire and two progeny by the look of this. So on the out and back, Mr. Wild has certainly used the out and back a lot to get a sense of the dog's soundness during the course of the 10 days of the Royal. But now he's going to look at them going around together, see how the dogs carry themselves, their head, their top line, their reach, their drive, all of those elements. And I guess he'll now place the dogs. I'll just head out there and see what I can get from him. So Mr. Wild, sire and progeny class, you've got two working breeds here. What sort of things are you looking for when you think of the sire at the front of the line and look at what's coming in behind him?
In this case, you're looking for how the sire has put his stamp on each of his progeny. In this class, you get a good overview because each of the puppies are from a different dam. They've got the stamp of their father, and hopefully we also see some improvement from one generation to the next.
So in one sense you're looking for prepotency given the different dams.
Yes.
Thank you, Mr. Wild. I'll leave you with your steward to place the group.
And the German Shepherds do win the sire and progeny. The sire is in front and the progeny is to follow.
So in the sire and offspring class, winning a first prize of $100, product $104, trophy and voucher valued $175. The winner, the group of German Shepherds, sired by champion Alemander Firewalker, and following them in second place, the limbs Shetland Sheepdogs, side by Japanese champion and supreme champion Ken Cherry's Union Black Jack. We, of necessity, will have another break. They caught me a bit short on the last one, but I know this one will be a bit of a break because we're coming to the breeders team class now. This will be judged in 2 sections. The first one will be essentially confirmation. So we can look at a group of exhibits, not necessarily from one dam or from one sire, but from one kennel, that represent what that kennel is producing, what that breeder is producing overall. I would guess that Mr. Wild will be looking for, given that there can be quite a bit of variation in the breeding across the group, we'll be looking for consistency of type and quality, and we will leave the issue of presentation to the second class, which will follow on from the first one, and that'll be co-judged by the 2 judges. So the first class we're going to see in a while is breeders team confirmation, to be judged solely on the confirmation of the group of exhibits in comparison with the other breed entries. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 entered. I'm not sure what we actually have here on the ground, so I'll sign off for a while and go and chase the stewards and see what I can work out. So we're back on live streaming now. If we look over that way slightly, you'll see that it's morning tea for the judges and stewards. But just while it's just about allowing people time to get their dogs ready for the breeders' team classes. Obviously, on a day like this, there's lots of multiple handling of dogs, so we need to give people time. And I thought we might just have a quick chat with Mari Loudon, who's the show manager for the whole of our dog show, and just get her thoughts on this year's Royal. Mari, how do you feel? Has it been good? We're nearly at the end. Are you saying well done, improvement on last year, or?
Yeah, I think on the whole it's been a big improvement on last year. We picked up on things that we hadn't done quite so well last year and tried to improve them, and I think that has worked. There's one or two things that we will change from this year for next year, but I think on the whole the show has been a huge success. We're really, really pleased. The dog committee and the stewards, the exhibitors have all been very cooperative, and it's really worked well.
So Mari, this year we've had 2 judges, and we've had very big judging programs, sometimes with 250 plus dogs for a single judge to go through in a day. Next year we're back to 3. Any thoughts on how we manage that, or what your feelings are about it?
With the 3 judges, it can be difficult arriving at a program that is suitable for everyone. But it's very important that we have a set timetable with the 3 judges because we need to program it so that we have dogs all day and that the public are seeing dogs all day. And I think the 3 judges work very well as long as the timetable is set and we follow it. But the 3 judges it's a good concept. And I think it adds variety to the actual showing program. And we then will look at perhaps doing some shows for specialist clubs, which would be good, and we can do that.
I think what you're alluding to, I guess, really is from the Royals' perspective, that this is an exhibition. So for an exhibitor, it's a dog show, but for the Royal, it is important to maintain activity in the ring, so we need, with 3 judges, to pace it through the day, and that makes timetabling possible. I think it's a really good thing. It enables us to give judges more of their specialised areas rather than sort of saying, well, you've got half and you've got half. So our 3 judges for next year, if I can remember them, are Mr. Nilsson from Sweden, Mr. Dr. Tessix from Hungary, and Michelle Scott from Canada. So if you haven't picked them up, that's where we're headed next year, 3 different countries. Let's hope we have a harmonious thing. How have you felt about the judges this year in terms of their contribution to the feel of the show?
Well, I feel, especially with the two different countries, the Canadian and the German, you get 2 different ideas and 2 different ways of judging. And I think that adds to the variety. And also I had the feeling that both of them are very knowledgeable. So watching them in the ring was very good. And I think on the whole the exhibitors were very happy with the judging. And I think having the two different judges does give us variety in as much as with their different knowledge of the dogs in their country comes through when they're doing the judging here at the Royal.
Mari, as show manager, you're coordinating the stewards and the ring program and all sorts of other things. Can you think of any funny things that have happened at the show, or anything that stands out in your mind that people might be aware of that sits amongst the things that you have to look after or have to pick up?
Oh, that's difficult because there's numerous things. I think the funniest thing that has happened to us is that someone rang up to say that they couldn't bring one of the dogs, was entered in the show, but they couldn't bring the dog. And could they bring another dog in its place to save the entry? So I think that was hugely funny. We've had a couple of funny incidences here with this show today because some people thought it was last week. So they didn't read their schedule properly. So that was a big hurdle for us to get over, that some people thought it was last Sunday, not this Sunday. But we've managed to get a few people here, so it worked out okay.
It was a bit of an experiment this year to put the general specials on Saturday. I think our hope was that it would encourage interstaters because it would mean that they could then go home on the Sunday. But I think, as you said, a few people misread the schedule or assumed that it was, life as usual. It really highlights the importance, particularly of a big show over a time like this. Read carefully, and I don't say that as a moral lecture to someone because I made a mistake myself and entered dogs in the team class thinking it was today, and actually it was last weekend. So, these things happen. Yesterday, General Specials Day, the big day, what were your feelings about the whole day as it progressed and came through? Any thoughts or insights onto the day?
I think the nice way that we did the break after we did all our groups and went through our groups, and then we had a break, and then we had the singer come in and the speeches, and I think that was really good. I think it gave everybody a feel of being part of everything and not just coming in, showing the dogs and going. I felt that was made like a feature of the show and got everybody together for a little while to have a bit of a laugh and relax before we went into the final picking of the in-show winners.
And it was interesting to me, and thinking about what we've done today with breed classes, particularly the AI class, the number of dogs coming through in the in show and in group lineups that were actually sired by AI, that had AI after their name. So this is a powerful thing in the breeder's armoury, something to be used well. But I hope that this is a class that will actually grow. It's trying to move. We're trying as a society to move with the times and recognise the changing practices in breeding that go on. Murray, I wondered, one of the features of the Royal is our gold-coated stewards, and they're just a wonderful group of people who not only keep things going but keep things on an even keel. I just wondered if you would like to say anything about the stewards or to the stewards, or not rude of course, but not that you would be.
No, they are a wonderful team. They're well experienced. All of them have been ring stewards for many years. They lend their own sense of humour. They have a sense of humour. They have a sense of looking after our exhibitors, because some of them come from a long distance, and so they have a lot of dogs sometimes with them. So they're really good to have a good feeling for our exhibitors, which comes through. And they were the big part of the fact that we were voted the most popular royal show in Australia this year. And I attribute it to, and a big part, our stewards.
I think putting the stewards into gold coats was an innovation from Adelaide, the same as live streaming with commentary is an innovation for Adelaide. I don't want to sort of wave our own flag, but I will. We were voted the most popular royal this year, and I think with very good reason. This wonderful arena, the very lovely judges, the fantastic stewards, and in particular what we try to promote in the benching hall in particular is that sense of camaraderie, of exhibitors coming together and enjoying being dog people together. So I just wondered, do you have any closing thoughts? We'll just finish off. No? Okay, that's all right. Murray, I also wanted to say, and I wanted to bring you out here to say how much we have appreciated the way that you have managed this show, that, the respect that exhibitors have for you is enormous, and your capacity to manage and organise is fantastic. So, Murray, thank you. And I think we might almost be ready to get moving with the breeders' team classes now. So I'll sign off here and head back into the box. Thanks, Murray.
Thank you.
So shortly we will be looking for the confirmation class for the best breeders team. So we are now looking at the best breeders team confirmation. We have the French Bulldogs, the Briards, Bernese Mountain Dogs, Bull Mastiffs, and then the Shetland Sheepdogs. So in the ring at the moment we do have the best breeders team in confirmation. So we have the French Bulldogs, the Briards, Bernese Mountain Dogs, Bull Mastiffs and the Shetland Sheepdogs. The judge is looking for the confirmation in this class.
You see in the ring now the groups for the best breeders team, and the basis of this will be confirmation. So although some of these are clearly dressed as a team through the handlers, what we're actually looking at in this class is the confirmation of the group of dogs. So they can have each of them could come from a different sire or a different dam, it doesn't matter. This is the group from a kennel that the breeder has put together to represent their own breeding achievements. In the ring we have different groups of breeds, different breeds. We have the French Bulldog, the Bernese Mountain Dog, the Bull Mastiff, the Shetland Sheepdog and the Briard. So a lovely range of breeds here. And as we get to it, as each one's examined, I'll go through what details I have of them. So we're looking at the table at the French Bulldog. This is a team put together by ACAD, Kiangsi Kennels. So looking front on to the French Bulldog, you can see the characteristics of the dog, the wonderful bat ears, the domed forehead, the muzzle and the eyes. And from behind you get a sense of the hindquarters being slightly narrower than the front end. And the judge will be looking for these breed characteristics on the way through, but also the conformation, the way the dog is put together. So the breed characteristics and the conformation. And together that spells quality. So here's the second of this team, the French Bulldogs, the team from Kiangsi. So we're not looking for sire or dam or anything at this stage, and we actually have seen a couple of these dogs in the previous classes, and that doesn't relate to what we're seeing now at all. These are just the dogs that represent this kennel, that represent the type and the continuity of the kennel. When we judge normal breed classes, the result is placed out as first, second, third and fourth. In this class it'll be exactly the same and judged in the same way, except that the impression that the judge has will be gained across a group of dogs rather than just the one. So somehow they've got to synthesise in their mind 4 dogs and come up with a single sort of sense of quality and grade as they look to place across this group, across the different breeders groups that are in the ring. So I think this will be the last of the French Bulldog team. So Mr. Wild steps back to have a look at them, and now he's going to send them around. 2, 3 and the fourth one, there we are. The team of French Bulldogs from ACAD, Kiangsi. Mr. Wild is now turning to the second group in there, which I think are the Briards. There we go. 1, 2, 3, 4 Briards. It's a group under the catalogue submitted by C&A Mitchell under the kennel name Cacharel. So 4 dogs, one dark and the others the colours which we will normally see in the breed, but there's a range of colours allowable. And colour won't come into the judging of this at all. It's purely on the conformation and the breed qualities of each dog and the collective impression that leaves with the judge. Just checking the head, looking into the eye, checking the teeth. shoulders, ribbing and loin, and the tail set and hindquarters of the dog, the conformation. And now the test of conformation in movement. You get a lovely sense of the dog as the camera picks it up running towards and away and then across on the side. As I said, sometimes you can get a better picture of it because you're so focused than even the judges getting in the ring. So this is the fourth of the Briards. Again going over it. Briard, a French herding dog, sheepdog. So we've seen two groups now, the French Bulldog and the Briard, and you can see as you look at them a consistency in type across the groups. And I think that's what a breed is all about. So the Briard's going around the ring, having been examined. So the impression of them as a group now. And we'll switch to the next group. These are the Bernese Mountain Dogs. Alpenhund Kennel are cat. The breeders' team, unlike the other multi-dog classes, specifically requires 4 dogs. And here we've actually got a handler on each dog, and it was fascinating to me to watch at the World Show earlier this year with teams being handled sometimes by one person, so having all 4 exhibits in hand. Quite spectacular when you looked at some of the giant breeds that were being shown that way. But here we have individual handlers, and we're headed towards the Bernese Mountain Dogs. Just a wild looking at expression as they come towards him and the way their feet fall. So these are the Alpenhund Bernese. We had a very good entry of Bernese yesterday, on Friday, during the breed classes, and it corresponded with a Bernese specialty at the same time in Adelaide, so that really helped our numbers. But the Bernese for a long time have supported the Adelaide Royal in high numbers, and they're just a wonderful breed to have for the public to see. So looking at things like the markings and the quality of the coat, the expression, soundness in particular with the out and back. I think he's seen all 4 of the Bernese now, so he'll send them round the ring and get an impression of the 4 together. We're looking at a team. This represents a kennel. It's a statement, if you like, of this is what we produce in our kennel. They're very important classes, groups like this, the breeders' team. And while we do have a presentation class, which is a bit dress up, to actually look at this as a conformation group is a really important challenge for a breeder. So we look now at the next team. This is the Bull Mastiffs. Bull Mighty Kennels, exhibited by B. Dawson. We don't have the breeding on any of these, it's just the collection of dogs from a kennel. Could be all all from different dams, all from different size. It doesn't really matter. It's about what a kennel produces, what stamp they put on it, how well collectively they reflect the breed standard. So again, here we see a difference in colours. The brindle colour here in the dog under examination, the dark bull mastiff. Now, it doesn't matter what colour the dog is, provided it's within standard requirements. That doesn't impact on judgments about conformation. Be interesting to think later on when it comes to presentation, whether having 4 dogs of matching colour comes into it at all. But for the moment, it's not an issue. It's just how the dog is built, how the dog represents the breed standard, how that collection of dogs represents the breed standard. Looks like quite a young group here being presented in the bull mastiffs. I'm not sure if this is the 3rd or the 4th in the team, but we'll find out in a moment. I'm not sure what the bull mastiffs will do later in the presentation class. In the past they've put on a very lively presentation. But this is confirmation, how the 4 represent the breed, what the standard across the 4 of them is. So we move them around the ring now and get that sense of the group collectively, where the standard lies there within them. Next we have a team of Shetland sheepdogs presented by Entirety Kennels. So the first is on the table and the other 3 will move up in turn as the judge requires them. So Sheltie, looking at things like the face, that sweet expression which is so characteristic, the ear, the way the ear is carried, their alertness, their movement, the quality of the coat and the construction underneath the coat. That's why the judge puts them on the table, because the coat can cover a multitude of sins, but when you put them up on the table and put your hands on the body of the dog, you're able to tell a lot about the structure. So you see the judge goes over them on the table, feeling where the shoulders are, feeling the ribbing and the loin and the tail set and the bend of stifle. Then he puts them on the ground and sees what he's read with his hands come into reality in the movement. You get a lovely shot there of the Sheltie's head, such a special feature of the breed, such a sweet expression. The exhibitor giving the ears a little tickle to get them up as the judge comes to them there, because the dogs often on the table will need to be alerted to take their ears out of rest and get them to give the full expression. Often you see that expression naturally shown when the dog comes back to the judge, and they'll give them a little click or something to alert them. Let's see what the dog does here, if we can get a glimpse. There you are, ears went up, the handler dropped a bait in front of it. It's part of the way, you know, the judge sees the expression of the head. Down on the ground and off on the gate. And that's the 4th one in the group. We can see some differences in coat in this team. It's a difficult time of the year, spring, when some breeds do drop coat. So some will arrive at the Royal in plush coat, a beautiful condition, and others, perhaps maybe sometimes we'd describe it as in their underwear. And I think that completes the group, so I need to head out and speak to Mr. Wild and see what his thoughts are at this stage.
So the judge is making his final decision on the breeders' team. We have the French Bulldogs, the Briards, the Bernese Mountain Dogs, the Bull Mastiff and the Shetland Sheepdogs.
Mr. Decisions made. So, Mr. Wild, would you like to think out loud for us a moment about judging a team? We're looking at dogs that could all have different sires or could all have different dams, but essentially they represent what a kennel wants to put in front of, a breeder wants to put in front of people and say, this is our take on the breed.
Exactly. So in this particular case, we're looking for a team of 4 animals that most closely resemble each other. That gives us a take on what that particular kennel is likely to produce on a consistent basis.
So you have 4 specimens in each of these classes, and very different breeds on the way. How do you synthesize this? How do you look at a group and say, okay, this is the best, because you've got 4 individuals. There'll be some that are better than others in the group, but how do you come to a consensus in your own head about the 4 collectively?
First of all, you have to go back to that particular breed standard, and first of all compare each of the 4 exhibits to that standard itself, and then you're looking for which group of 4 all most closely come to that breed standard.
Thanks, Mr. Wild. It's a challenge. We'll call the steward back in the ring and we'll be able to announce the placings.
And first position in the breeders' team, and very excited by the sounds of it, is the Bernese Mountain Dogs.
So in the breeders' team for confirmation, first place goes to the Bernese Mountain Dog group. They are Alpenhund kennels exhibited by our cat. The second group, second place group, are the Briards, listed as Cacharel kennels exhibited by C&A Mitchell. Third in the confirmation breeders team group, the Bull Mastiffs, Bull Mighty kennels exhibited by B. Dawson. And fourth in the group will be the Shetland Sheepdogs exhibited by Len Toedi kennels. Just for those who might be watching, the prizes for this: first is $350, second $200, third $100, third $100, and that's sponsored by Liz Bennett. Fourth is $50, and you've got $100 collectively sponsored by a private sponsor. So we're really grateful for the people who sponsor these classes and who support us at the Royal. Without them, it'd be very difficult. And I know that exhibitors really appreciate the prizes that they receive, but I'm quite sure there's nothing like getting a cash prize of $100. It's a lovely reward for the day's work. We now head to, and you can see on the screen, some of the people preparing for the next class, which is Breeders' Team Presentation. And this has got to do with how you show off your dogs. They're not judged on conformation, although to a degree it comes into it. It's about how the dogs as a group match and how the handlers display them. So we're looking at a group wearing kimonos and another group wearing pink, and so different groups of exhibitors are going to attempt to set their dogs off by the quality of the dogs, and more particularly by the way they actually dress and present themselves. So we've had some wonderful images in the past, and it's actually going to take a few moments because some of the people in the presentation group, in the confirmation group, are going to come back in for the presentation group, and they're going to need to change or to get themselves organised. So there'll be a short break now, and we'll come back online as soon as the class is ready. It shouldn't take too long. Okay, I think we're back on now. This is being streamed, so we just need to get everything organised. This class is about the Best Breeders team, but focusing on presentation and dress. So the breeders are looking at how they can showcase their breed and give a sense of what their purpose is and perhaps the culture that they come from and any other aspects that just is about their enjoyment of the breed. And the class is being judged by both judges, so I hope we have a harmonious relationship here and we're able to agree on the placings. It's always difficult. But I'd just like to ask the judges what their thoughts are about this, what sort of things they'll be looking for, what sort of things they'll give priority to. So perhaps, Ed, if you'd like to start.
In this class, we're considering the history of the breed, what it was intended for back in time when they were created as a breed. As we look at that, we're also looking at how they present to the audience how the breed works and how ingenious they can be in coming up with ways to do that.
Thanks, Mr. Wild. Hassie, do you want to add anything? This class is fun, but there are serious prizes on it, and the exhibitors have taken a lot of trouble with the way they present their breeds. They're clearly very committed to them and very involved in them, so I'd ask you to support them and perhaps give them a lot of applause as they come into the ring and as they are judged. Over to you. Can you just wait until I get into the... Good luck.
Such a wonderful class. Now the first one in is going to be the Siberian Huskies. The second is the Bernese Mountain Dogs. The third is the Bull Mastiff, and the fourth is the Japanese Chin.
So we now see the breeders team presentation and dress class entering the ring. The first group are the Siberian Huskies, all dressed. It's fortunately not a 40-degree day here in Adelaide, but all dressed in their furs. And the Huskies pulling a sled, and yes, we've got a child in there. So, the dogs are enjoying that. A little bit of discussion on the way around about who the leader is, and I think the passengers enjoying it too. So they're reflecting the reality of the Husky as a sled dog, a light sled dog, not a heavy sled, so we've only got a child in there, but lots of thought and presentation. Next comes the Bernese Mountain Dogs. Swiss, the handlers are interesting. I'm not going to go into too great a description of the aprons, but perhaps reflecting dirndls and traditional dress, carrying baskets, and perhaps we'll see something of that as we go through. The third group are the Bull Mastiffs, and these are a gamekeeper's dog, and so yes, you can see the Bull Mastiffs, and in front of them I think what was probably a poacher. So we're seeing the gamekeeper and his assistants and perhaps what we should call their victim. We'll see it later as the presentation. I can see the poacher's bag there and everything. Oh my goodness, look at here, we've got the Japanese Chins, led by a samurai warrior, complete and bowing, thank you. Slippers off, or fans working, the Japanese Chins. And look, the face is all whitened, beautifully presented. This is a challenge, isn't it? When we see the trouble that these people go to present their dogs. And as Ed Wild, one of the judges, said, one of the things we look at is the way the breeders and the handlers reflect the traditions and the culture of the country of origin of these breeds.
She'll get you. The
So
warrior
we've got
will get you. The kabuki
the
warrior's
Huskies.
coming. So here we have these wonderful exhibits. We have the Siberian
You can
Husky,
see the
the
amount of
Burmese
trouble and
Mountain
time
Dog,
that some of
Fleet
these
Brothers,
exhibitors
or
have gone to,
Mastiffs,
but
and
also the
Japanese
fun that they've
Shih.
had
Everyone,
in
please
getting
give
this
all
class
of these a
together.
wonderful clap. A lot of time and effort has gone into all of these costumes. So the judges are looking for what
I
they
think
want
this
to
is a
bring
wonderful
to
way
the
to finish the
community.
show, the last of our formal classes.
Also, it is for
And
the costumes.
a bit of fun, but also, some good prizes up for offer. The first prize, $350, sponsored by a private sponsor. Second, $200. Third, $100. Fourth, $50. So each of these groups are going to, actually with only 4 here, going to receive something. So we see the Huskies all pulling, settled down, pretty much settled down as a team now.
So these will race through the thick snow, looking to help
And we're looking
people
at
if they were lost.
pairs
Also, searchers
yoked
are
together,
singled out, but these
and the
ones
handlers
are
in their
used to
furs
stop
and right
people
down to the
from
Ugg boots, I
getting
think.
medicine for the diphtheria.
Just coming back into
So
view
the
there.
only transport at that time that could get
And we're
through
reflecting the
Adelaide
purpose
to the
of the
Iditarod,
dog,
which is a famous race today.
a light sled
That is
dog.
where
And here
they
we have the
started
Bernese
from.
mountain dog.
So it's an 1,000-mile race that
Got
beats
to
those
do
competing
more with
in.
culture than purpose, I think. I
We're
probably
now
should
looking
ask
at
someone about the
Bernese
baskets.
mountain dog. It's an old breed from Switzerland.
But the dress to reflect the country of origin, a Swiss breed. So we've got 4 Swiss, shall we call them 4 Swiss lassies, lined up with their dogs.
So first used for drafting, so you can imagine they're pulling these sleds around through the
And
Alps
take
to
the baskets
Switzerland.
and going to parade straight down the centre of the ring.
Lugging wood.
4 in line.
They are a working dog.
It's a magnificent sight watching them come towards you and all in unison around and back we go. So partly watching, things like movement, but this class is about how the dogs are presented. So even things like that, going out and back in unison, become part of it. And the judges are clearly enjoying themselves. I think Hassie, our German judge, might be reflecting on her Swiss neighbours as she watches this. I'm not sure what Ed is thinking.
We're now looking at the bull mastiff. Now originally this dog was
I think the Swiss are quite relieved to be done. And here we have the gamekeeper's dog with his top hat there, and in front of it this shifty looking character, the poacher. The bull mastiffs, they're a fearsome sight. So off they go, the poacher's gone and the dogs are after him. I'm not sure whether the dogs are actually going to get him. Yes, they have. They don't look all that fierce, but I'm not sure that that's an attack at the throat or a cuddle. But everyone's enjoying it. And the poacher's been caught. That's a fair weight of dog to land on top of you, even if he's not being fierce. I think we'd say that the bull mastiffs succeeded in their chase. So reflecting the purpose of the dog, and the handlers all dressed as gamekeepers. Done it. Where's the poacher? Is he still flat in the middle of the ring? I don't know. Well, here we come now, the Japanese chins with the warrior. Fans bowing to the judges. The dogs carried as they would have been. Just interested in the original. And here we go. Led by the warrior, a very frolicsome warrior, and the Japanese chins calmly, gently coming towards them as
they're the geisha girls. Now the geisha girls were for the entertainment
beautifully dressed.
Japanese culture.
And again, all in unison and paying homage to the Japanese culture that these dogs come from. Look at the whitened faces, the decorations in the hair, the beautiful, beautiful silk kimonos.
From the Japanese theatre, the Kabuki Warrior, the all-powerful white lion. Come on everyone, put your hands together for the Japanese cheers.
Quite a bit of applause from the audience. Obviously this group quite spectacular in the colours and the drama of the presentation. We will soon see what the judges think.
The Burmese mountain dogs, the bull mastiffs and the Japanese sheep. I wouldn't like to be judging this. It would be so hard. All of these have put in so much time and effort into these wonderful costumes. It looks like a lot of conferring's happening out there in Ring Centre. The judges making their decision.
We're seeing the Japanese geisha girls on the screen at the moment. The cameraman is obviously taken with them, and they are quite spectacular. And look at the little dogs. You can see the expression on the chins, particularly the one in the centre. This is a really hard decision for the judges, and they're obviously having to talk about it together a bit. And we can say it's a fun class, but a lot of effort has gone into this, and there are significant prizes associated with it. So it is, in the end, a serious decision to make that the judges are going to. First place, Best Breeders' Team presentation goes to the Japanese chins, the geisha girls with their Japanese chins. They are exhibited by Lynn MacArthur, Kiseki Kennels. Lynn MacArthur, Japanese chins, first place.
And in second place,
the second place goes to the Bull Mastiffs, Bull Mighty Kennels, exhibited by B. Dawson. I can see the dogs out there, but the poacher's obviously been excluded. The poacher's on the way over to join them now. In third position, the Siberian Huskies, Ramika Kennels, exhibited by Kay Rayner. Oh, and the little passenger managed to secure one of the ribbons. Good on her.
And in fourth position, we do have the lovely Bernese Mountain.
And in fourth place, Alpenhund Bernese, exhibited by our cat. So they're the placings for this last class. I'm just going to try and speak to the winners.
Now, before they leave the arena, we have Francis is coming out. Now, he's going to speak to the Kabuki Warrior to ask a little bit about this. So hold on, everyone, for a moment, please.
Okay, I think we're on. So our winners today, the Japanese chins with the geisha girls and our warrior. Would you like to say something about this group, either of you? Hassie stepping back.
We were just so impressed with the amount of effort, the authenticity, and the showmanship of both the warrior and his geisha girls.
So we need a spokesperson from the group. You're elected. Tell us something about the way you've presented and what's gone into all of this.
Geisha girls originated from Japan, as most people know. The Japanese chin was first developed in China, but then developed in Japan. And the geishas actually used to carry the Japanese chin up their kimono sleeve as a pet, and they were often held in bird cages.
So one of the things that each of these groups have tried to do is present something of the culture that's behind the animals that they are accompanied by. And congratulations to everyone. As the final class of the confirmation show, this has been a wonderful finish, and I'd ask everyone to give them a clap as these groups go round the ring and close off for us.
So everyone put your hands together for the Japanese chin, who have won first prize, followed by, in second place, the Bull Mastiffs with their very dodgy poacher, and in third place, the wonderful Siberian Huskies, and in fourth place, the beautiful Swiss dog, the Bernese Mountain Dog.
So this is the end of the show as far as confirmation is concerned, and it's a great way to end with the fun and the seriousness of the presentation class. And I've been aware of watching through the show of classes and classes of dogs from all over the world, from places like Poland and Czechoslovakia, from the different countries of Asia and Africa. It's the dogs come from everywhere, and their cultures come with them, and the owners really embrace them, and it's a fitting way to finish. So we're going to sign off from the live streaming now. The show will continue with obedience and agility classes this afternoon, but for the moment, thank you for being with us. Just a reminder of our judges for next year: Mr. Nielsen from Sweden, Mrs. Scott from Canada, and Mr. Tessix from Hungary. So if you're watching and thinking what a great show the Adelaide Royal is, please join us. We look forward to having people from all over Australia come together in Adelaide for this very special event, the Adelaide Royal Show. Thanks everyone.